Hey, Still Sound Lab. So this is just a quick additional video about the patches that I'm including inside my first wave of content for Still Sound Lab. Um, Basically, how to use it. And I'm here in FL Studio because I know most of you guys use FL Studio. So I included some presets, and they're either for Patcher, or for Snap Heap, or for Ableton Live. So either if you don't use FL Studio or Ableton, you can use the Kilohearts bundle or subscription to load my patches, or if you use FL Studio, you can open the patcher presets, and if you use Ableton, you can load the racks that I made. So the first one I want to show you is Bell Saturator, which is a patcher preset. By the way to add these is to go to the Save Preset As, and then there's a folder up here. So you copy this address, and then you open Windows Explorer, and then you go to that address, and then that's where you put the files. And once you're there, you can choose them from up here and load them up. Sorry, my bad. Up here. Yeah, here they are. So the first one is Bell Saturator, and this XY pad, it basically just controls an EQ like this. And Bell Saturator is based on a plugin from Waves Factory called Spectre. This guy over here. And basically what this does is you can boost a certain frequency range with an EQ, and then it takes just the difference from that boost and saturates it and mix it back in the original signal. And I really like using this to glue together my bass and my sub. And so I wanted to include this alongside the video, and I was like, well, I guess I know what Spectre is doing under the hood, so I should include like a mini version of it that is free, that everybody can try out. So that's what Bell Saturator is. It does exactly the same thing, but it's just free. And so you can tell here, I have a song here. My superpower. You can tell just with the default setting, it's beefing up the low mids a lot. And if that's something you want, cool, then you can just leave it like that. There's a button to solo the parallel signal, so if you bring it up, it gets more distorted, so more harmonics get added. And basically this is just a device that you can use to do an EQ boost, but then also add additional harmonics on top of the EQ boost to fill out your spectrum a bit. So that's what Bell Saturator does. It's like Spectre but boneless, because it's just using this for distortion. Now you could add any plugin that you have instead of this one to create different variations of the concept. You just remove this guy and you add your own plugin to it. The only knob I'm automating is this post gain. That's this guy over here. Oh, it's the pre-gain. It's whatever. You can connect this to whatever pre-gain parameter in whatever distortion. So yeah, that's Bell Saturator. Now the other guy I wanted to talk about is this guy, Subwider. This is the other patcher preset that I've included, and this is the DC offset stereo harmonics thing from my video. So essentially it just takes any input signal, and it takes the low end from that, and then it generates stereo harmonics for it. So this guy, it has an input low pass filter, which is basically right at the start, and you can control it with this. So you can say how many harmonics you want to input, because for each of those it will generate more additional ones. So basically you just want only the sub. So I'll do this. You can hear when I solo the parallel signal, we're already generating harmonics. So the plugin will do its thing after this low pass filter, and then there's an output EQ which you can control here. And you can hear the stereo harmonics that it's generating. You can go like, oh, I want only these low ones, or maybe I want to bring out these high ones. And you can use that with that XY pad. Obviously, you can go in here and add more nodes to this output EQ and get some more control over it. But that's the gist of it, the easy way. Usually you don't really need more control than this. So yeah, these are the harmonics we're generating. Now this song is already pretty wide, so let me just show you a sub bass. You can hear, here's a sine, and you can see that it's mono. And here are the stereo harmonics we're generating. If you increase the drive, there might be even more. Yeah, looks like it. But keep in mind that these harmonics are only in the stereo info, so if you think this sounds dope, and then you make the song mono, you're going to be disappointed because they will all disappear. Fruity Stereo Shaper. How do you do this? Mid. All gone. So yeah, just a heads up. And obviously, if you're not using FL Studio, I also have Snap Heap versions of this. So if you're in the Kilohearts ecosystem, you can use Snap Heap to do exactly the same thing. They are functionally identical, you just control them a bit differently. So if you're using a different DAW other than Ableton or FL Studio, you can use the Snap Heap version. So here's Sub Wider, it does exactly the same thing. I just don't have it gained up that much. Play. Here's some stereo harmonics. And then you can use this EQ to boost the stereo harmonics if you want. And there's an in low pass frequency and an in low pass Q and a drive parameter. And that will take care of the stereo sub stuff. And there's also a bell saturator in here, but it's not as nice to control because the EQ had to be nested. So you control the frequency and the gain and the Q of the little bell with these parameters that just tell you percentages. They don't tell you what hertz value you're boosting. So I guess you can go by ear, or if you don't want to mess around with this, you can get Waves Factory Spectre. But I just wanted to offer like a modular version that you can use your own distortion devices in. And so yeah, that's all the plugins. As for presets for Serum, I just included a bunch of sub basses. So let me go in here. There's 5 patches. And so the main one you want is this perfect sub. This one just has the south. This one has all the stuff from the video, which is nice. And it has an option for adding a harmonic when you play high notes, but the harmonic disappears when you play low notes. And it has release control, it has a punch settings, so you can increase the punch or not. And then there's a few variations of this. There's also Circle Sub, which has the stereo thing from the video. There's one that does the sub harmonic generation thing inside Serum, but it's not as good and not as controllable as using an effect to do it, so I recommend you do that. Anyway, feel free to play around with all this stuff, and I hope you have a lot of fun making nice bassy music.